Hi guys, welcome to our channel again. Once again, thank you so much for all the subscribers and the viewership. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts from Ram and Nash Insights. I'm Nash. Well, today we are actually at Marsiling, where this story has come from. One of our subscribers actually emailed us this story thanks to Hafiz and his wife Rosita, who actually shared this story which happened back in the 1990s. So you guys are ready? Let's go to the story right now. Hi guys, today's story we are starting off from Marsiling. We are right now in Marsiling, sitting under the block where the actual incident happened, but then we are not going to tell you where we are exactly, just to disclose the particulars and stuff, let's keep it anonymous. So our story starts from this block. There's a couple who are still staying here by the name of Hafiz and Rosita, and this story actually goes back to 1990s. So this how the story went along, where in the 1990s Rosita's uncle, her cousin, who's Rosita's uncle's daughter, she's getting married over the weekend on a Saturday. So they plan to leave Singapore on a Thursday evening, so they can go a day before the wedding, help in the preparations for the wedding, and then for the wedding, and then they leave on Sunday. So they packed their bags, and then they went to work on Thursday, came back 5 o'clock, and then they went through Woodlands Checkpoint, and then they went past JB Checkpoint as well. So back in the 90s, after you cross JB Checkpoint, there's a lot of coach bus services just right behind Woodlands Checkpoint. So they took one of the coach services, which I think at 8 p.m. it will reach Ipoh at about probably about 2:45 to 3 o'clock. So it's like a good 7 to 8 hours journey. So before they actually boarded the bus, Rosita actually called her uncle and said like, I'm going to take the bus at 8 o'clock. So can you guys please pick me up from the bus stop, from the main road, because the uncle lives in sight of a rubber plantation, which is about 700 meters from the main road, and there's no light and stuff. It's actually a muddy terrain road, and there's no light and stuff. So, and she's pregnant, 6 months pregnant as well, Rosita. So they reached about 2:45, and yeah, thank God the uncle was there at the main road waiting for them to pick them up. So the uncle picked them up, and they got in the car, and while they were traveling back to his house, she actually could see all the rubber tappers coming to work early in the morning, because that's when they start their job, because they can't start work when the sun rises, because the rubber will actually melt. So I mean, well, to dry up actually. So in order to start work early, they have to start work early as well to get the rubber out and tap a new line as well. Well, after that, once they reached their uncle's place, uncle told them, you guys will be tired, so why don't you go take an early rest, and then you'll wake up early in the morning, probably at 10, 11 o'clock, and then we start with the wedding preparation and stuff lah. So that's when the bride needs to put henna and stuff and all that, since it's a Muslim wedding. So they went to sleep. Early morning they woke up, they did all the preparation for the wedding and stuff, and they went to sleep at about 10 to 11, because next day it's a whole day of celebration and stuff. And around 1 o'clock, since Rosita is pregnant, and pregnant ladies, they tend to use the washroom very often. They need to go and pee and stuff and all that every few hours. So, and the best part is that there is no toilet in the house back then in the 90s. In Malaysia, most of their toilets are behind the house, like a few feet away, and it's just one small room, and then that's where you go and do your business and you come back. So that was about 1 a.m. in the morning. She woke up, she had to use the toilet, so she went down, and then again, it's where the back end of the house is where the garden is as well. So they had mango trees, rambutan trees, and they had a couple of banana trees as well. So she went to the toilet, used the toilet, she released herself and stuff, and the moment she came out from the toilet, she heard this lullaby. So she was quite like, who's like singing lullaby at this time of night, and then she noticed that the sound was coming from the banana tree plantation. So she turned and saw a white dress, but the figure was actually behind the banana tree. So she couldn't make out the face and stuff, but she actually saw the white dress. So she was actually very engrossed in the song. She was just listening, closing her eyes, listening to the song, and suddenly husband came and woke her up. Because the husband woke up and found that she was not beside him. So he came down actually to look for her, and then he found that she was actually looking at the banana tree, and then closed eyes and looking and listening to what she was listening to. Then she when the moment the husband shook her, she said like, I heard a lullaby, but I don't know who keeps singing the lullaby, but I just listened to wherever direction the song came from. So the husband, as usual, said like, maybe you must be dreaming, tired, it's a long journey, you haven't enough rest and all that, you're pregnant, tired, fatigue basically. So they went back to their bed, they slept, and the next day, yep, big occasion, celebration, marriage, and everything was done. Sunday, they decided to take a coach back at about 2 o'clock, and then they reached back Singapore at about 11ish. So right now, when they came back, they freshened up, they lied down, they went to sleep. Again, Rosita had to use the toilet in the wee hours as well. And this time around, when she woke up, she heard the same lullaby coming from a window side, because their apartment is, their HDB flat is like a 3-room flat, which is along the corridor as well. So she could actually hear this lullaby outside the window from their room. And she was like, okay, maybe it's maybe because from what I heard from Saturday or Friday night, maybe it's just like a earworm that's running in my head. So she went to the toilet, she came back, she slept, and then everything was okay in the daytime, in the afternoon, but coming to 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock, that's when she kept hearing the same lullaby for almost 4 to 5 days continuously, and she never mentioned this to anybody as well. She thought it was a earworm that she's listening inside her head. She thought that maybe it's just me, I'm just engrossed in the song, I like the song or what, so she just like, why not, let it be as it is. But then, on Saturday, this time round, she heard the lullaby, someone singing very closely to her bedside, but no longer at the corridor right now. So somebody is literally very close by her bed, singing that song to her. So in the night, as usual, 1 a.m., she heard that song, she woke up, not for business, not to use the restroom or what, but just because of the lullaby. She woke up and she turned and she saw this lady squatting down beside her bed, on white dress, bloodshot red eyes, and looking at her and singing the song. The moment she saw that figure, she started screaming. Hafiz woke up immediately, on the lights, and then he saw, next thing was, she was lying in a pool of blood on the bed. So immediately he called 995, our emergency call for ambulance. So the ambulance came, they brought her back to the hospital. After being in the emergency room for an hour, the doctor came out and said that I've got bad news and good news. The good news is that your wife is fine, but the bad news is that the child has been aborted because the child died before it reached the hospital. So Then she had to be in the hospital for next 3 or 4 days to recover and stuff. Then they went back after 3-4 days. They went back home. That's when Hafiz's mother, Rosita's mother-in-law, asked her actually like, did you feel anything wrong with you physically, mentally? Because this kind of stuff doesn't happen naturally. See, it's like out of 100, maybe 1 or 2 will happen this kind of situation. But then, did you face anything? Did you say like, yeah, actually, when I went to Ipoh for my uncle's daughter's wedding, I heard this lullaby. And then I heard this lullaby when I came back to Singapore as well, and I heard outside our house. And then on the final night before I went to hospital, I saw this figure squatting beside me, and I saw the figure, I screamed. Then the mom said, is it an evil spirit or what? Yes, of course, because she had bloodshot red eyes staring at me and singing that song. Then the mom knew immediately that this actually is a Pontianak, because the wife, Rosita, mentioned that she actually saw the figure with the white dress standing behind the banana tree in Ipoh. So the next day, the mom brought Rosita to the nearest mosque in Marsiling, and then they saw this ustad. And then the mother-in-law actually explained whatever happened to her daughter-in-law. So after a couple of minutes of praying, the ustad actually said that the Pontianak actually came for her, the child in her, and not for her. So he did some prayers, did some holy water for the drink and to shower as well. And also we don't know whether the spirit is still lingering around in her apartment or flat. We don't know that. But then he managed to give her some kind of protection against all evil spirits as well. So right now, from the 90s, right now Rosita is now happily married, still with Hafiz, with 2 kids right now. They are still happily married. Kids are all grown up. So question now is, can spirits actually travel from country to country based on what they want, or will they go back, like from Ipoh to Singapore, after claiming the baby in a stomach, and then going back to Ipoh again, or the Pontianak is going to be still staying in Singapore? We don't know yet. But that's for me to know, for you to find out. Good night, guys.